Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy, AJ Trip, and welcome to the rapid reaction of WWE Fastlane 2019. We're going to go ahead and get started. Um, this one was a pretty interesting show, I thought. I thought it was a pretty interesting show. And so, yeah, let's just go ahead and let's get things started. We'll start off with the New Day versus Rusev and Nakamura. This was on the kickoff show, and this was good, as it always should be, between the New Day and Rusev and Nakamura, and I thought this was really good. You know, there was this start where right before then, they started with an interview with Kevin Owens, and then the New Day walked in. Kofi says he's got no problem with KO, and they shake hands and kind of submit that he's a babyface if they already haven't. And then they're getting ready to go to the ring. Some guy says, "Hey, you got the McMahons want to talk to you about the WWE Championship match." So, they Kofi goes away, and then the New Day come out, and because they had the match with Rusev, and it was a fantastic match. I liked it. We normally see Big E and Kofi in these situations, but since Kofi's now with his thing, it's gonna be Big E and Xavier Woods doing the thing, and I'm gonna be happy to see more of Xavier Woods in the ring. I think that would be a good thing to see. I think back when Big E had he had hurt himself, he had hurt his groin. We saw a lot of Kofi and Xavier then. We saw a lot of Xavier Woods doing then back when New Day was on Raw a few years ago. But yeah, I think this might be a good chance to get more because I think Woods is an underrated performer. So I thought this was a fantastic match. This is a perfect way to get things started. And I think one thing I really liked about this was that this was closer to the end of the kickoff show. So it almost felt like it was part of the pay-per-view. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I got it at 3 3/4 stars. Then we go to the actual pay-per-view. And we talk about SmackDown. It starts off with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It's The Miz and Shane versus the Usos. And once again, these guys did a fantastic job. We know what the Usos can do. But Shane has surprised a lot of people over these past three pay-per-views. The Royal Rumble in January, the March the March Elimination Chamber, and the February Elimination Chamber, and now March here in the Fastlane. Spot of the night is they're doing good things, and one of the Usos, I think Jay is down in the corner, so Shane gets up to go to the thing while Miz is in the middle of the ring. Jimmy climbs up and says, "Well, if you jump, I'm gonna jump on Miz." So and then it kind of was like a standoff, and then Jimmy jumps and Shane does coast to coast to him in the thing and knocks him off, and it was really, really good. A really, really good spot, I thought. So at a point in the match, right after that, the Miz gets up and his father tells him to go to the top. So Miz goes to the top, and does a frog splash, and he misses. The Usos the knees up. He rolls him over, gets the cover. The Usos win. So once again, we get the kind of thing where Miz just can't believe it. Shane says it's okay. They're in Cleveland, so Miz was so over. Miz is so over tonight. And he's probably going to be more over than anything else. I got to tell you, they are doing some great work with some of these guys. Daniel Bryan's doing great work. Miz is doing great work. We know what Kofi's got. A lot of other things, but Miz is surprising, and I think this role kind of works for Miz. The role that, the reason why he's always been so angry and maybe so insecure and all of that is because he never got the love from his father. So I apologize, y'all, for yawning. At least in storyline terms. But yeah, this was fantastic. I thought this was truly incredible. And then afterwards, they go over to Mr. Miz and they celebrate with him and everything like that. And I was waiting for maybe a Miz turn, but it was Shane who turned, and that was shocking. It was shocking for a couple of reasons. It was shocking because basically without saying it, right? Basically without saying it, they had said that that basically there was not gonna be no heel authority figures. It was not gonna be any heel authority figures. So you just kind of think, well, why are they doing this with, so you just didn't think that maybe like that Shane and and Miz thing it was going to not happen, but here it is. It's happened, and yeah, and it was a fantastic beatdown by Shane. I am not one who aches for the days of the non-PG era. I'm not one of those guys. In particular, I'm talking about the blood. I'm not one that aches for that. I really don't. I think there are times when sometimes it might call for it. I do, maybe once, twice a year at the most. At the most. And I gotta admit, this might have been a good thing. It might have been good to, if there was just a little bit of blood, on Miz. A little bit of color. Miz got a little bit of color tonight, but hell, that's okay. It was still a fantastic beatdown by Miz. Shane choked him out on the floor right in front of his father, and then he put his hands on Mr. Miz, and then Shane walked up and went away. So yeah, it looks like we are going to get Shane versus Miz at WrestleMania, and I'm glad that it's going to be heel Shane and babyface Miz, because I think babyface Miz is working. I really do. I think it's working, because nothing has changed really too much about him other than he doesn't put down the crowd now. So I think that's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I had this one as well at 3 3/4 stars. I thought it was really, really good. And then we had an Elias song, and so Elias came out 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 times before, all night with songs about, Cleveland, basically shitting on the city of Cleveland and everything. So, and this one, of course, was about LeBron. We knew we were going to get a LeBron one, and he sung it. So, whatever. The next match was the SmackDown Women's Championship between Asuka and Mandy Rose, and And yeah, and listen, and this they went out there and they tried their best. I just don't know if things just didn't click. You know, I'm not I don't know if Mandy is at that level yet, um, where she can and I think the really thing is with that I think she I'm not sure what this was about. I don't know if this was about the build and what the build was, or just maybe they just wasn't really good together out there. But they just it just didn't happen. So Asuka won. She won when after Sonya Deville was looking on the rope and got a kendo stick, she left the thing on the apron and Mandy slipped on it, and Asuka hit her with a roundhouse kick and beat her. And then as they left, Mandy left not wanting to talk to Sonya Deville, so it looked like we got a little something going on there. Don't forget, there was some issues back. I think it was around Survivor Series, maybe. There was some issues. They were kind of teasing the Sonya Deville. No, actually, that goes back to Evolution. Actually, back in October, they were teasing like Mandy and Mandy and Sonya split up, but they had to do the whole women's tag team title stuff. So they got away from that, but now they're bringing that back. So. Looks like so. Maybe Mandy and Sonya might have a match at WrestleMania, or maybe they might be in that the women's battle royal, and it may they may do something in there. Maybe it'd be down to those last two. Sonya will win it, and Mandy will get pissed off again. So who knows? So yeah, that was that. Then we go backstage, and Kofi's still the New Day comes by, and Kofi's waiting out, aside the McMahon office, and I'm still, Coach, I'm still out here. I've been waiting out here for the last hour, So the New Day, they get in and they talk to Vince, and they say, "Come on, man," and they bring up all of the 11-year stuff and everything like that, and it says, and they talk about it. And tonight, the WWE Championship match is gonna be a triple threat match. He says, "You two are barred from ringside. Kofi, your match is next. Go out there." And so he goes out, and then they go out, and then Kofi goes out there, and he can't believe it. He has it's the entire world, and everybody else thinks that it's the WWE Championship match. However, they fool us, and it's the Bar that comes out. It's a handicap match. It's the Bar versus Kofi Kingston, and so yeah, and it's just a beat down, and at one point they started chanting this. The crowd started chanting, "This is boring," which in reality is not boring, but they were chanting. I think they were chanting, "This is boring," but just because it was the Bar against Kofi Kingston, and they had been kind of fooled. So, but and then they do the thing where they broke kick Kofi, and then they pull him up. The New Day comes down, but then they get stopped and beat up by Nakamura and Rusev. Then the Bar hits the combined white noise, and it's finally a victory, and it's over. As a match, it's one star, but as an angle, it's definitely in the upper threes, 3.5, 3/4 stars. I think as an angle, this was pretty, pretty interesting, because they're going somewhere with this, obviously, and the way they may be going with this, and people have said this many of times, that this looks like where they're going is that they're going where Vince and maybe even Shane, because now Shane in the heel, Vince and Shane are maybe too out of touch, and it needs to be run by the day-to-day things need to be run by Triple H and Stephanie, and maybe somewhere Triple H and Stephanie are going to do what they did with Becky Lynch. They're going to take, they're going to put Kofi into a match at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan. So that's that might be what happens, and maybe might one of those things where Kofi wins, then Vince stays away from WWE forever. That might be one of the things. The next match was the Raw Tag Team match. It was Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable against the Revival. And again, this was really, really good. In tag team wrestling is done right, it's done almost in perfection, and this was done right, and most of the tag matches tonight were done really good. Like I said, on the kickoff show, New Day and Nakamura versus Rusev and Nakamura were great. The Miz and Shane versus the Usos were good, and this one was a good one too. Just fantastic all around. We know the Revival was good. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are good, and of course Black and Ricochet, they've come up and held their own, and so we had a great finish to where there was a spot where Ricochet was trying to Hurricanrana Scott Dawson onto the other players, and Scott Dawson kind of fell short of it, and so it was kind of an ugly looking spot, but still very effective when it comes to showing that damn this shit's so yeah, and there was a definitely this, and then we went to end where they were Ricochet was going for maybe the 630, but Scott Dawson rolled out of the way, and then he saw Aleister Black was getting beat up by the other guys. I think he was getting beat up by it was either Bobby Roode or Dash Wilder. So he decided to run all the way, get off the turnbuckle, run across the screen, and jump over the turnbuckle onto them. In that melee, Chad Gable tags Ricochet, tagged himself in, and he tried to get on Scott Dawson, but Dash Wilder comes in. They hit the Shatter Machine. The Revival win, and then after the match, Bobby Roode takes out the Revival. Takes out Scott Dawson. Aleister Black hits Black Mass on Bobby Roode, and then the 063, not the 063, the 630 on Dash Wilder. So Aleister Black and Ricochet stand tall, but the winners are the Revival. Again, this match I thought was good, 3 3/4 stars, just fantastic. Next match was a match that was made on the kickoff show. We had heard that on the kickoff show the match was going to be Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. What they decided to do is to do a rematch from SmackDown. Fatal 4-Way: Samoa Joe, Andrade, R-Truth, and Samoa Joe, the champion, right? I said Samoa Joe. Yeah, what? Okay, so Samoa Joe, R-Truth, Andrade, Rey Mysterio. Okay, so and once again, these guys they don't disappoint. They don't disappoint. It is amazing to me. What R-Truth is doing at this point, because R-Truth is, as they talked about this, he's 6 years older than John Cena. John Cena is like in his late 30s, maybe John Cena may even be 40. So that means we're talking about R-Truth being 45, 46 or something like this, right? But he's in there putting on, hanging with these young bucks. I know Samoa Joe is probably 42, but he's hanging with, and actually, what am I talking about? Yeah, Rey Mysterio is 40, R-Truth is 40, Samoa Joe is 40. Andrade is probably the only one that's in his 20s. If that, he may be 30 plus. But they were out there, but the thing I'm trying to get to is that I don't know if I've ever seen R-Truth have the kind of matches he's been having like the past 3 times, the last 2 SmackDowns of tonight. He's working with great guys, but man, these matches have been fantastic, and he's been a part. It ain't like these guys are carrying our truth. He's doing his part. So, and the vocal work and everything like that has just been fantastic from our truth. He didn't do anything funny today. He rapped his rap, but man, he's just been fantastic. This match was great. I will say this: they probably have to stop doing the spot where Andrade is on on two shoulders and then Ray jumps off and does it. They probably need to stop doing that spot or do stuff off that spot for that spot. But they're like how Samoa Joe won. They tried that, but they flipped it off where I believe it was R-Truth. He knew his Samoa Joe was coming, so he moved. So Samoa Joe, he senton used Andrade. So and then Truth came back with a splash. So this was really, really good. I thought it was a 4 stars and just fantastic. Samoa Joe put out pretty quickly, and I think I understand why, because Corey Graves actually said it. Because at one point during the match, Andrade was going for a gory special on Mysterio for a submission. And he talked about that you really have to, keep it, you really have to do this right so that if you want to keep this, a part of if you want to do a submission in this kind of multi-man match, you have to do it quickly. So he quickly choked out Rey Mysterio, and he retains the United States Championship. So we'll see where this goes. This could be where at some point in the next couple of weeks we do get an R-Truth one-on-one match with Samoa Joe, and then Samoa Joe beats down R-Truth. That brings out John Cena, and then we get the John Cena Samoa Joe match at WrestleMania. So that might be interesting. Definitely interesting to see. Or maybe we might even get Samoa Joe, which is R-Truth at WrestleMania. Samoa Joe kind of kills him, and then that brings out John Cena, and then we get like the Hogan Bret Hart thing from WrestleMania 9, where Truth says, "Go in there." Samoa Joe talking, says, "Come on in, John," and then they have a match at that point. So it may be that they may do that thing. I'm not sure, but fantastic match as well. Next was the women's tag title match, and this is Bayley and Sasha versus Tamina and Nia Jax, and the ladies were just off tonight. They really were. They were just off tonight. Things, especially Nia, she just, she wasn't in spots, and Tamina, it's just not working. It really isn't. I just think, I think for Tamina, it's just not working in the ring at this point. I think when Tamina was a heavy, I think that was what she was what she was best doing. That's what she's best served doing in the ring right now. She just is it doesn't look very well. I remember, Jesus, it's probably been a decade ago when she debuted. She was a little bit thinner, and she was a little bit more agile. But she's had a ton of injuries. And she's a little bit more bulkier now. So I don't know if that's taking away any of her athleticism. The injuries, her being a little bit more bulkier. So I'm not sure, but I just don't know if it's working right now for Tamina. And as in Nia Jax, Nia Jax can be Nia Jax. So they finished the match. Bayley and Sasha won. It's 2 2.25 stars. After the match, they beat down Sasha and Bayley. They got in the face of Beth Phoenix. They took her out. Natalya was Beth Phoenix's friend. They had a tag team called Pin Up Strong. They came out, and then they got dealt with by Nia and Tamina, and then Nia and Tamina walked to the back, proud of their damage, smiling at what they've done. So, and then we had the women. They had the WWE Championship match, and it's announced as a triple threat. Kevin, and everybody's like, "What? It's a triple threat." So Kevin Owens comes out, Daniel Bryan comes out, and Mustafa Ali comes out. And boy, this started a shit storm that, you know, yeah, baby. Because for the first, I'm gonna say the first third of this match, the crowd was booing Mustafa Ali, and when they wasn't booing Mustafa Ali, they were chanting Kofi Kingston. A lot of people on Twitter gave the right analogy. This was Rey Mysterio being number 30 that year, in 2014. I think it was 2014, right? That 2014 when people thought 30 was gonna be Daniel Bryan, and it was Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio get booed out of the building because everybody wanted to see Daniel Bryan. That's what this was. Everybody wanted to see Kofi Kingston. They didn't want to see Mustafa Ali. But over time, Mustafa Ali won them back over. KO definitely won them back over too. Although they were kind of more behind Kevin Owens than they was Mustafa Ali, because in their mind, Mustafa Ali is taking over from Kofi Kingston. So, but they were, like I said, for the first third of the match, they were just rooting for Kofi, saying with Kofi, or we want Kofi, we want Kofi Kingston, Kofi. Whatever they could chant, they were chanting. When it comes to Kofi Kingston. And but and this almost seemed like, this almost started to see like that this was going to be just a match that was just going to be hijacked. You thought this was going to, here come the beach balls, and here come the chants for the announcers, and you could just see it coming. But there was at one point when Mustafa Ali was on the turnbuckle, and Daniel Bryan drop kicked Mustafa Ali off the turnbuckle, and he took a kind of a back shoulder bump onto the thing. That got a reaction from the crowd, got them to stop chanting for Kofi, and got them invested in this match. And at that point, they almost said, "Well, wait a minute, these guys are not going out here putting on this match. Let's check it out." Is that for a minute? There was one more Kofi Kingston chant before the end of the night, but after that drop kick, the chants had pretty much stopped, and they were kind of into the match. And by the end of the match, Mustafa Ali had turned it around, and he had got the crowd on his side, and the crowd was still for Kevin Owens. But a fantastic finish as Mustafa Ali wanted to go for the 054. Daniel Bryan moved. And then he did something where he went back to the turnbuckle. He's going for the moon, like a moonsault. Daniel Bryan caught him with a knee in the middle of the moonsault, his running knee, for the victory. And so Daniel Bryan retains the WWE Championship. And this match was 4 stars. This was a good match. There's a lot of great things. Even a thing where there was a springboard DDT to the outside. Just fantastic work by these 3 guys. And Aaron Warren, he got involved as well, but he was minimal damage. So that was good. So good on them. They did a 4-star match. Next was Becky versus Charlotte, and this was a very intriguing one, as it should be. This was about the injuries to Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch's knee. She had some tape on her arm. Maybe some ribs from getting rib shots from Ronda Rousey. So this was a big thing, and this is where and it was it was a Charlotte Flair thing. Charlotte Flair was doing her thing, working on the knee. And every now and then, Becky Lynch would get a stuff in. She got Charlotte in the armbar. But when Charlotte gets the figure 4 onto and she's getting ready to turn into the figure 8, Ronda Rousey runs down and punches Becky Lynch. Referee calls for the bell, and your winner is Becky Lynch, making this a triple threat match. So I'm kind of shocked. I really am. I was fully expecting Charlotte to win, and then them do something. I was either expecting Charlotte to win or for Ronda to like knock out both of them. Like like she would come down and maybe cold clock both of them. So then where it would be like a no contest or a double DQ or something. I don't know, but that was. And then she just walked on out of the ring as if it was. And then she went back. She did the point to the WrestleMania sign that she did last year. If you remember when she debuted at the Royal Rumble, she's doing that. And Charlotte's standing there looking, and she's like, she's like, she's there, she's looking as if, she has that look of, what it looked like. Hey, it's a surprise party, surprise birthday party. It's not my birthday. She's got that look on her face. It's the exact same look that you would have. As you being thrown a surprise party on for your birthday, but it's not your birthday. That's her look. What? And that's gonna be a GIF. That's gonna be a GIF on Twitter, GIF on Facebook. You guys will see it. So so we have our match at WrestleMania. This should be the main event. This should be the main event. And I'll be honest. Even if they're gonna go in the direction of maybe not putting the title on Becky, if they're gonna put the title on Charlotte and or have Ronda retain. Even if they do that, I still would think I would put it on last. I still think I would put it on last because I'm just not sure if now listen again major crowd is in the Kofi, and I think Seth and Brock should definitely not main event. Seth and Brock should go on third from last. It really should. In my eyes, in my world, it's Brock versus Seth, third from last. Then you got Kofi and Daniel Bryan as a semi-main, and then you got the women's match as the main. Now, I can see them putting Kofi and Bryan in the main event, although I don't think that's what it should be, because they have just forgotten about every other woman on this roster, and they are trying to do, building up this this Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky feud. So there is no reason. There is not one single reason why this should not be the main event. So we'll have to see about that. And like I said earlier, when Elias came out and had some and did some songs throughout the night. And he came out one last time, did some songs. He talked about how he wasn't a fan of the man, and some other things, with Cleveland. And then Lacey Evans came out. She does her thing. She walks back, and while Elias is looking at Lacey Evans, which by the way, I'm almost certain. Renee said that Lacey Evans drinks whiskey out of a D cup. I think that's what she said, and that makes no sense whatsoever. So, whatever. So, as Elias is looking at Lacey Evans, I don't know where. Here comes Randy Orton with the RKO. Just fantastic. Great to see crowd pop from that. And then out of nowhere, AJ Styles hits Randy Orton with a phenomenal form. And the crowd pop for that too. So, so that's going to set up AJ and Randy Orton for their feud at WrestleMania. So that should be a good one as well. And then the main event tonight was the Shield versus I took this from Twitter. I should have get the person's name so that I could have gave him credit. The mid-card Mafia. Even though they're in the main event, not the main event Mafia, they're the mid-card Mafia. Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley. And this was special. This was the match of the night. This was the main event. Good, so good to see Roman back in the ring doing his thing. Drew and Seth, they were doing great stuff as well. Bobby and Drew are, of course, good guys, and Baron Corbin. I think when when push comes to shove, Baron sometimes can he can hang in the ring as well. So they did some great stuff. Of course, the Shield, they got all that good stuff in. Shield powerbomb on Drew McIntyre through a table. Shield powerbomb on Baron Corbin in the ring. 1, 2, 3. The Shield goes off. A smiling Roman Reigns, a almost tearful, Seth Rollins, and then and that scowl of Dean Ambrose. So yeah, I had this at 4 1/4 match. This was really good to see, and so yeah, I would like to see that. Um, and I think if there's anybody out there that is upset that the Shield was in the main event and it just wasn't Becky and Charlotte, um, I think there are two reasons why. Sure, there is one because this was a seminal moment. This is probably going to be the last time that the Shield gets in because Dean Ambrose is going to go. Seth Rollins is going to do his thing. Roman Reigns is going to do his thing. I would probably expect Roman Reigns to be moved to SmackDown even maybe. So yeah, that is what is going to happen. So this was one last time for everybody. You wanted to see the Shield win. You got to see the Shield win. So this was, at least in my opinion, I think was the right way to go about it. Also, as we saw in the Becky and Charlotte match, there wasn't a finish. There wasn't really a finish. Now, I'm not big on whether I'm not big on clean finishes and DQ finishes and things like that. And, I know there are some people that they get so sticky about that, like that match from 1996, Mind Games between Mankind and Shawn Michaels. Some people will not give that 5 stars because it was a DQ finish, but hell, I give it 5 stars because it was one hell of a match. It really was. It was a fantastic match. Great storytelling between those two guys. But yeah, so I think and even though Becky won, again it was kind of like what? Do you really want to go off the air like that? No, you want to go off the air like the way they went off the air. With this and with this and with this, So that's the way that the Shield, the one last ride. And like I said before, you could almost hear Charlie Poussin and Wiz Khalifa singing around, singing the song of the Fast and the Furious. So it was what it was. But I thought tonight was good. It was entertaining. They however really do need to, I think in my opinion, they really do need to take away at least one pay-per-view. In my opinion, they do. I really do. I think they, I've said this before many times, and I will say this again. WWE needs to shut down their pay-per-view schedule, and they need to cut it from 12 to no less than 6, no more than 8. At least in my opinion. And what I can see, with 8, I can see, having like 6, they've signed on with whatever that Saudi Arabia for, is it Saudi Arabia? Yeah, I think Saudi Arabia for like, I don't know how many years they're gonna go over there. So, and apparently they're gonna go back over there like sometime in May or June again, and so, and then of course I do think they should probably do a women's pay-per-view. So if you want to do 8, I think that's how you get to 8. But they really need to do 6, and but they probably won't do that because it's gonna cost. They won't make money, but it would be better for. It would be better for. I think storyline part, it would be better to get rid of one, if not both, of the pay-per-views in February and in March. I really do, because both the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and the Fastlane pay-per-view, because like there were so many changes, and then like the Kofi Kingston stuff tonight, and and just I don't know, it's. They were trying to get all this other stuff in when really all they wanted to do was promote WrestleMania. That's all they really want to do. So why not just do that? Why not just do that, right? Get rid of Elimination Chamber. Get rid of get rid of Fastlane. And just do, or at the very least, right, like I said, get rid of one. Maybe that's what you. Maybe what you want to do is you want to get either the last Sunday in February or the first Sunday in March. You want to do Fastlane, and then after Fastlane, you can go to get on the road to WrestleMania, something like that, and then move Elimination Chamber. Now, yeah. Maybe what you do is you can get rid of Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view and put in the Elimination Chamber, and at that point, maybe, yeah. So do that, but yeah. But I don't know. I do think this was a pretty good pay-per-view. You're talking about having 3 4-star matches and 3 matches that were almost 4 stars. So, and the other stuff was just So, so I would think that's a good pay-per-view, a good time. But let me know what you guys think. Post all of your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought of all the matches. Give me your star ratings if you want to. Everything is open. So, like the video. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJ Tripp, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I'm trying to think. So I would not be doing a rapid reaction to NXT TakeOver. So so the next time you see me for a rapid reaction, it will be for WrestleMania. All right, y'all. Unless something bad happens or something really good happens. So, all right, y'all. I'm out.